god, hell yeah. Oh my god, we got classic. Oh my god. It's about freaking time. I wonder if anybody's as hyped as I am. Let's see. I think I got a solution. Hey, what's going on everybody? Echo here. Now I'm going to be doing something different today. Now with the release of Classic, I started to take a step back, and before I wanted to make a video, I wanted to see people's reactions for maybe about a week or two. I kept a close eye on the forums and, well, I think I have a solution to what everybody's problem is. People want to add things into the vanilla server. Well, we wanted vanilla. I'm sorry, but we should get what vanilla was. Probably around the Naxxramas, but only release the raids out during certain points in time. Like, let's say, when you started off, the highest place you can go was Upper Blackrock Spire, just like the old days. Then it would release, let's say, the ZG raid with Molten Core. Just progression like that. I'm sorry for all the people that want to add pet battles and achievements and everything like that into vanilla, but vanilla should stay vanilla. But I do have a solution to the want and desire, because I myself would want character models and stuff like that. What we did agree to and the things that we've been fighting for was vanilla. But this opens up a opportunity, and before I get into what that opportunity is, I'm going to take a step back and take a look. What did we like about vanilla? What did we hate about vanilla? And someone who has played vanilla, and I'm talking about the early vanilla, lived through it. There was things that I found irritating. There was things that I wish that were easier. Or not easier would be the word, more convenient, what I would say. Quality of life. Join me on this. See where I'm going with this. Share this around, and then let me know if you like this idea. Let's take a look at the things we liked. We loved the difficulty. How long it took to level. It took people months to level, some people even up to a year to hit their level cap. It gave you that sense of accomplishment. Alts weren't really a thing, and you felt more attached to your character. We loved that about vanilla. We also loved the way dungeons were set up. We had the choices of being a 10-man or 5-man group in Upper Blackrock Spire, for example. We loved the difficulty of the dungeons. They were hard, they took time, they took CC. You didn't just gather things and AoE them down. That being said, the raid size as well. 40 people. Now that might sound like a lot, and it is. But when you did get that 40 people together, there was nothing greater than to hear that roar of that boss that you downed, coming from your Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or whatever it was back then. Hearing that 40-man roar on that boss that you took forever to down. That meant something. Another thing we really liked was it took time. Nowadays, if you were to, let's say, buy Legion, well, it would take you less than probably a week to be raid ready. Well, that didn't exist in vanilla. Like I said, some of us took up to a year to level up. Grinding the gold for your mount, getting the reputations for enchants. People forget about things like this. These things took time. Leveling up your professions, leveling up your weapon skill, leveling up your armor skill, leveling up your hit. All those things were required for you to even get into the raiding scene, making sure that your gear was correct. And then that is a good segue to get into our next category, gear. Gear wasn't handed to us. It really wasn't. if you found an epic, especially a BOE epic out in the world, that sold for money, like a lot of money, like a lot. You were happy to get a green item. You were happy to get a blue item. If you got an epic, ooh boy, that meant something. I remember going in Orgrimmar because at the time I used to be an undead warlock. So, yeah. I used to go around there and see all these people in tier 2 and tier 1, and I used to go, wow, what can I do to get that gear? What can I do to accomplish that? That meant something. That gear meant something to us. As I said, I played a warlock, which will segue into our next category, which was the classes felt useful. And I'm not saying every specialization was useful, but every class was useful. Whether it be paladins for their blessing, especially that salvation that was so needed back then, or shamans with their wind fury, or me as a warlock, I was the summoner. I summoned people to the raid. I had to go out and farm shards for the raid. I had to go out and get shards for healthstones. Boy, was that fun, especially stopping and having to go get it mid-raid, because back in the day, sometimes bosses or mobs wouldn't even give us experience, so that we couldn't even get shards off what was in the dungeon at the time. Before that was eventually fixed, thank God it was. But that's what my job was in there. I really enjoyed my class. I felt useful. I was the guy that buffed the mages. That's who I was. And let's talk about the scale of things. 40-man raiding. Even though it was kind of difficult to get 40 people together, but when you did, and those top guilds took you in and you started to get into that raiding scene, the raids felt huge. They felt like a real raid. Another thing when it comes to scaling, the world. The world was grandiose. The world was your oyster. You knew you didn't want to walk into the Western Plaguelands and get one-shotted by a zombie bear. Just saying. Professions. They were amazing. They were useful. Enchanters? Oh, having an enchanter around to give you that, spell power buff or the healing buff, it really made a difference on your character, and it felt like you were contributing. But those are the things that I said what we liked. What about the things that we didn't like? Well, coming from experience, the PvP grind. I didn't like the fact there was only one High Warlord a week. And that grind, I tried to do that grind, I just couldn't. I made it to I think rank whatever Legionnaire was. I made it to there, but there was no way I was going to grind 12 hours a day for High Warlord. That's more than a job. Another thing I didn't really like was the talent choices. Like I said, being a warlock, I was all over the talent tree trying to balance what I needed and didn't need. Most of the talents at the end of my tree wasn't really useful for me. Felt like a lot of people couldn't play Feral or Guardian or Protection Paladins or... oh man, the list goes on. And it sucked. But you had a useful spec. Every class had a useful spec. If you were stuck as a healer, you were a healer. If you didn't like it, re-roll, man. I mean, sorry, but that's the way it was back then. But sometimes you can even have, let's say, an enhancement shaman. You could. It just wasn't often because it required such a great two-handed weapon, plus the Wind Fury procs. Now, with Legion, there was things I really did like. I do like the fact that there's a group finder. I don't really like looking for group. I really don't like looking for raid. I felt like the leveling is abysmal now, and no matter how much they really try to change it, even if they try real hard to change the leveling, most of the people are max level already. This was something that should have really been done a long time ago. I really like the achievements. There's certain things I do like everybody else, I think that would be awesome in vanilla. But vanilla should stay vanilla. But Blizzard does talk about doors being open. Now let's talk about the door that just opened. Another thing we could fight and want for. And I really think this would be awesome, guys. What they should be doing now, let's say they release their Vanilla Classic. Of course, I'm going to be playing the hell out of it. I'm going to love it. But in time, Vanilla, well, it's going to come to an end. Whether it be a year and a half. Some people are already going to down the content in maybe a month and a half, 2 months. There's going to be an end to it. Well, what's next? Battle for Azeroth? The scale of how fast things happen in World of Warcraft is getting out of proportion. Now we're on a cosmic scale. Not necessarily Azeroth anymore. This isn't the World of Warcraft. This is like the world of the universe. And reversing the Titans and Void Lords and all these things, it's becoming diluted with too much. But like I said, there are doors being open. We have Vanilla Classic now. But now, why don't we have, let's call it Warcraft Rebirth, where they give the things that we really enjoyed from Classic and start anew. Basically, the things that we wanted, that everybody's saying that they want inside of the vanilla, but with modern day technology. I think it's about time. I really do. I really think it's about time to rebirth the franchise. And I think many people would agree. A lot of people are going to be like, well, what about the people that are already currently leveled up? And listen, it's a minor sacrifice. And I say minor. Now let's go back 10 years ago. That would have been a big sacrifice, because time and effort was really put in. Now I think everybody wants that difficulty. People want to be challenged again. They want their gear to mean something. We're kind of sick of Titanforge. We're sick of Warforged. At least I am. Gear doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I don't look forward to legendaries. I don't look forward to the next Titanforge thing. I just don't. I look forward to that piece of gear I worked real hard to get. That Ash Candy, or the one I never got from Skolomance. Oh, Headmaster's Charge, I think it was. I don't really remember, but that's what I wanted, and it didn't even give me Spellpower, it gave me Stam. Anyways, I digress. But there was items that I seeked. There was items that I wanted. Now, with the rebirth of the franchise, it could be put on a new engine, so we don't have to be stuck just tab targeting. I really do think it is time to rebirth the franchise. And with Vanilla Classic, I can almost see that people are wanting to do that. With how much feedback I've been seeing on the forums and all the support that went behind making this possible. And by the way, guys, thank you, because I've been wanting this. I'm a very big supporter of wanting legacy servers. But I think it's time to rebirth the franchise. Because there are things now that Blizzard has learned that they even said themselves they wish they can go back, and they would have been able to do that years ago. They've learned a lot from their mistakes, and it's time to get their lore correct as well. I mean, they can actually make a good story, cutscenes, and it would be great, phenomenal even. Every zone would have their cutscene, everything would have their story behind it. I would love to see the stories that were put behind the game be voiceover, to be animated, to be in cinematic form. It would be great to have that. Let's hope that they can just rebirth it and bring those things that we loved from Vanilla and the things that they learned and had their mistakes from Legion. Let's make it Vanilla Plus. Vanilla with sprinkles. whatever you want to call it. Vanilla HD. Warcraft Rebirth. I don't care what it's called, but I think that's what really needs to happen. Because both sides of the spectrum will never be happy. Now that we have Vanilla Classic, there's going to be people that are going to be like, well, it's completely unbalanced, I can't play this, I can't do that. I'm sorry. Well, that was Vanilla, and that's what we wanted. Then there's people that are saying, Legion's too easy, we need to have that community back, we need to stop with the Titan forging and all that stuff, professions are crap, and leveling is garbage. Well, if that's the case, I think it is time to rebirth the franchise. Well guys, if you liked the video, give it a like. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I know I haven't really done much Warcraft content, but I've been sitting back and I've been trying to think, how could this solution be solved? So, if you guys want to see more videos like this, let me know. What do you want me to talk about? Let me know. Please, let me know. For God's sakes, let me freaking know. There's a comment section for a reason. Let me know if I'm an idiot for having this dream, whatever. I'm going to be going back live on Twitch Monday, which is today, 11/20/2017. I've had my hand smashed and now it's finally healed enough to where I can stream again and stuff like that. But yeah, guys, this was my video. I know it took a while and I know this is kind of dated, but I've been sitting back and just trying to think, well, is it time? And I think it is. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Echo. Let's make gaming fun again.